Mr. Hitchcock, why do you always make mystery films?
Well, life is a big mystery, isn't it? It always has been. I think people are intrigued by mystery to find out about things they don't know anything about. That's a mystery.
Do you regard the mystery, the form of mystery in a film, as a kind of escape for yourself in any way? An escape possibly from your own fears?
Well, it might have started that way. I suppose it must have all started when I was in my mother's arms at the age of 6 months. And she said to me, "Boo!" and scared the something out of me, you know.
Is there one rule above all others which is indispensable to a director who wants to frighten an audience?
I think he should understand the psychology of audiences. He should also know that audiences love to enjoy the very thing that they have built in, and that's fear that all started when the mother said boo. But for some inexplicable reason, they like to, how shall I say, put their toe in the cold water of fear to see what it's like. I once made a movie, rather tongue-in-cheek, called Psycho. As the film went on, there was less and less violence, but the tension in the mind of the viewer was increased considerably. I was transferring it from film into their minds. So towards the end, I had no violence at all. But the audience by this time was screaming in agony. Thank goodness.
What frightens you personally, Mr. Hitchcock, if anything?
Any trouble frightens me. I was once asked, what is your idea of happiness? And I said, a clear horizon.
What or who have you buried in your garden lately?
An unfriendly elephant.
Mr. Hitchcock, you seem to have a very nice sense of humor, which you obviously had before you established yourself as a thriller, directing thrillers. How come you've never had any comedies?
But every film I make is a comedy.
Frenzy will be the 53rd film he's made. Mr. Hitchcock says it's a black comedy, and it has plenty to make him chuckle.
Well, that's the man who's caught in a load of potatoes, and among the potatoes is a dead body in one of the sacks, and it's necessary for him to get the body out and retrieve an identifying object which is clenched in the dead girl's fist. Rigor mortis is set in, so he has to break the hand open.
You're looking forward to shooting this particular sequence?
Oh, yeah, I think it should be very amusing, yes.
It doesn't strike me, frankly, as being terribly amusing.
Why?
Well, with bodies and rigor mortis.
Dead bodies funny?
I don't, frankly, no.
Oh, you haven't seen dead bodies. This is a humorous dead body. My leading ladies are svelte. They don't have their sex hanging around them like baubles. In other words, the obvious blonde, even the Marilyn Monroe type, wouldn't appeal to me at all because there's no mystery in the sex. The sex is so obvious, and I would rather have the sex discovered.
Mr. Hitchcock, what do you think of the current trend in the cinema towards nudity and frank love scenes, and how will it affect you in the future in your filmmaking?
I think that's a passing phase. After all, how far can you go with nudity or sexual relations? You know, it would seem that we're all waiting for that zoom in to a close-up of the sexual act. And how close can we get to it? Once you've reached that point, then where do you go? And after all, it makes no difference to me because that scene I've already done. I did it in the end of a picture called North by Northwest, where I showed Cary Grant pull a girl into an upper berth, and then I cut to the phallic train entering the tunnel.
Who is the finest actor and actress you have directed?
There is no such thing. Actors and actresses are necessary evils that we have to tolerate in our business. I've always said, apropos of this problem of actors and actresses, that Mr. Disney has the right idea. If he doesn't like them, he tears them up.
You haven't got a very high regard for actors, or is it only stars that you object to?
I think it's a difficulty of stars. They want to be writers today, you know. They want to be producers. They won't stick like any decent cobbler would to their lust, you know. And I think that's one of the big problems when an actor wants to rewrite and arrives on the set with his scene already. I had that occasion happen to me once. An actor came with a scene completely rewritten. At 9 a.m. I said, what about your co-star in the picture? She doesn't know a word of this. Hasn't been able to learn a word. Don't you have any regard for her? Not at all. It was just that he wanted to change the scene, because it wasn't permitted, naturally.
You invariably appear in your own films, Mr. Hitchcock. Have you ever been tempted to become an actor yourself?
Nothing so low as that.
Apart from self-satisfaction, Mr. Hitchcock, what is your basic motive for making the films that you do make?
Basic motive? Money. I usually wear a blue suit, a white shirt, black socks, no jewelry of any kind, no ornamentation, not even a wristwatch.
Why is that?
Well, I think it relates to one's tidiness of mind. I have a very tidy mind.
If he appears bored on this set, then that's because he spent 8 months creating frenzy in his head. For him, this is merely the tedious mechanical process of putting his ideas on celluloid.
Once you come into a studio, it's the same as going down a coal mine. The weather and the light are shut out. So you could be on a Hollywood stage anywhere, they're all the same. I ride to the studio and ride home to the hotel. That's all.
Why is that, sir?
Well, there isn't time for anything else. And it's time to get home for dinner and then go to bed by 8:30. Well, what else would one do? That's one's whole life, you know. I've always been a movie maker for the last 50 years. So it's second nature, as the song goes.